Welcome to Gold Derby. I'm senior editor Denton Davidson here with Matt, who was eliminated in 15th place on Next Level Chef last
Ah,
night.
yeah.
Matt, things just didn't go your way. You were drafted out of
No.
Team Blaze. You
Mm,
start your journey in the basement. Talk about the salmon burger and the raspberries and what landed you
This
at the bottom.
the burger, man. So obviously we're making smash burgers in the basement. We know the basement's gonna be rough. We kind of knew that going into it. Happy to be on Team Blaze's team, but that first pick puts us in the basement. Yeah, man. So I'm going to that grab. I grab salmon. I know I kind of want a fruit, I feel like, with that. So I only fruit I see is raspberries, so I grab raspberries. And I'm just trying to grab other things I think can maybe complement it, something spicy. So I grab the harissa and I'd never had a salmon smash burger before. I didn't know if I could smash it, so I had to make sure I could put something in the salmon to make sure it held together because I was afraid that if I smashed it, it would just fall apart, kind of like my corned beef did in the basement as well. Um, but yeah, I think I think I just lost a grab for that one, to be honest with you. The salmon raspberry, it's just a rough combo. They said it themselves, it's you don't see that combination together very often, and I think yeah, they're completely right. Like you don't, and I think there's a reason for that. But the whole point of the basement is you got to try to make something out of nothing. So
Yeah.
you got those ingredients, you got to try your best to make something good with them.
And you were young, 22 at the time of the competition.
22 at the time, yep. Yeah,
So
just turned 23 last month. And
you head into elimination against Chris, who's this professional chef. He's got his own food truck. So were you intimidated or excited, or what were your thoughts heading into that elimination round?
so I was intimidated for sure, but I mean that I was Richard Blaze's last pick. He was Gordon Ramsay's first pick, right? So I was definitely intimidated, but I think I said it in one of my interviews. I don't remember if they showed it on the show or not, but I said like, listen, last pick versus first pick, this is a big chance to have a huge blow to Gordon's team. Gordon's team was absolutely stacked too. So this was a really good chance for me to kind of take out that top notch. So I was really excited about that. I was very nervous. I knew I was for sure the underdog, not even close. And I was kind of okay with that. I kind of liked that. Um I know I had a chance to do something really cool. It would have been really sick to get Chris out of there in that first round. And I think I came pretty close, in my opinion. I came real close. I had one mistake with that freaking Radicchio.
Yeah.
But but yeah, man, you gotta do what you can. The competitiveness in me absolutely loved being the underdog in that situation, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't extremely nervous with the situation, who I was going against. I knew Chris was insane. And yeah, I just went in there and tried to do my best.
It looked tough, and it looked close.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts when Gordon and Richard? So they come in to do this blind final judgment,
Mm.
and what was your confidence level at that point? Because I know you had wanted to do the homemade tortillas, but you just couldn't
Uh,
get it done. But that was sort of Chris's weak point as well.
yes. Yeah, yeah. So dude, I feel like I was dead 50-50 to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like I felt confident because I want to be confident in my skills and I want to be that confident, but I was like, oh, dude, Chris has been making tacos out of a food truck for his whole life. Like he's from San Francisco, big taco place in San Francisco. I was like, I was like completely dead 50-50. Like I could have gone either way. I switched from the homemade tortillas because I saw how they were falling apart and I saw how hard they were rolling together. So I knew that there was a really good chance that his tortillas just fell apart completely. And that's kind of what I was banking on. And I think that's what happened. They picked it up, his tortilla kind of broke out. I was like, okay, I got a chance here. Like this is that my confidence level boosted up. And then Gordon said, no, it was Naisha. Naisha was like, you have Matt with his radicchio slaw. I said, radicchio slaw? Radicchio. I thought it was cabbage up until that point. Just I knew what radicchio was. I'd never used it, but I knew what it looked like. But in that moment, I thought for sure there was purple cabbage. She says, yeah, we got some blackened cod tacos and radicchio slaw. I said, what? So what do we have? And then I was like, oh no. Gordon said, yeah, it's a little bit bitter. I said, oh
So
no.
what was that like then? So when they tell you you're going home, what
Mm.
were your thoughts? It was emotional, but what did you had to be proud of yourself.
So it's really hard for me because I'm like my whole life, like with my friends, with sports, I'm like the most uber competitive person that I know. And my friends are the same way. Like that's who I've surrounded myself with. So it was like mostly just I was pretty bummed at myself. Like I was disappointed in how I performed. I knew I could have performed better. Um, and that was kind of mostly my feeling. I came home and like it was my parents that knew and said they're like, oh, you should be proud for even getting there, and you should, and that's just like they're completely right. Like that's how you should feel, especially at 22, especially with the lack of experience. I was just like so down on myself for a good couple weeks there, probably like a week and a half, just because I knew I could have done better, and I so strongly despise losing, especially that early. But I came to terms with it a little like pretty recently, honestly. And it was like, yeah, it was insane to be there. I was 22 years old. I worked in a restaurant for a year total. The experience Chris has on me is astronomical. So if there's anyone that I wanted to go out to, it was going to be Chris. Like he's a great guy and he's an amazing chef, obviously. So I was okay how I went out. I think that I did the best I could. And if I didn't, then it would have been a lot worse. But yeah, it was just hard leaving early, especially leaving all my friends that early. That was a little bit rough. But
Well,
yeah, I
I mean,
mean,
it feels like you went home first, but you really didn't. I mean, you think of all the people that auditioned,
yeah.
and then there were the on-screen auditions. You got to cook on all those levels, and you
Mhm.
made it through into that draft round.
And that
What was
was
it
insane.
like just to cook on all those different levels and actually be in that studio in person?
Dude, it was nuts, man. It was still there we go. I didn't see my thing lighting up there. I apologize. It was insane. It was honestly the craziest moment of my life going into that set for the first time without even filming, just seeing I'm a tall, big guy. That you're like looking up at the set like this. It is insane. Gordon, Naisha, and Richard Blaze all walk out, and you're like, oh my God, where am I? What's happening right now? Like, and again, I was making videos on social media for 18 months at that point, and I like in 18 months, I never expected to be in that position to even have a chance to be here and try something like this. It was unbelievable. I will always say it was the best experience of my life. Didn't happen the way we wanted it to. Didn't end the way we wanted it to, but it was. If you told me you get out in the first round of 15 again, I would still go and do it for sure. It was unbelievable.
What's the platform grab like? That looks competitive. People are wrestling for pregnant ladies are getting pushed aside.
Platform for me, listen, I'm a huge fella, right? I'm a big, slow dude. I was there last at the platform each time. My goal was genuinely to not hurt anybody. That was my legitimate plan. I knew I had the height and the length. I could reach over if I had to. My goal was to not shove poor Nicole or Gabby or anyone into the ground. Um, that was my biggest plan. But the grabs are insane, man. Like you're completely nervous. Your hands on the wall. You're terrified. Everything, nerves are going like crazy. The second they say go, it kind of just calms down somehow. And you're at the grab and you're just trying to find something as familiar as you possibly can. Like it was insane how it kind of just went to Zen immediately and just, can I find something I can make something good out of on this platform in the basement, wherever it was? The grab is insane. You have 30 seconds. It is unreal.
How did this all begin for you? Like, when did you discover a love for cooking, and how did you ultimately decide you wanted to share that with people over social media? You came in as one of the social media chefs.
So I started cooking, I think, my junior year of high school. It was Alton Brown spaghetti, actually, was the first ever thing I taught myself how to make from Good Eats. Um, I was just sitting there and like I saw his like 6 hour sauce. It took forever to make. I didn't even know that much effort and that much time could go into food. Um, and so I thought immediately, oh, I want to try this out, just to, like see if I could even do this. And I pulled it off. Family loved it. And it was like, wow, I didn't know that much time and effort could go into food. And it was beautiful to me. It was awesome how you took these scratch raw ingredients and you took 6 hours, 8 hours prepping, cooking, babying it, watching over it, and you grew that into something insane for a meal for your family. That was incredible to me. That it kind of snapped from there. It was a hobby all throughout high school, my junior year to like my sophomore year in college. I was just cooking casually. And then when I left college, I started a Snapchat story, which was just a private Snapchat story. I put it on my regular story and my friends could join it. It wasn't like followers, it wasn't any new people. It was just friends could join it if they wanted to watch. I tried to teach them how to cook a little bit. And they liked it. It was people I hadn't even spoken to in years, like swiping up on it, joining it, saying, "Oh, I made this. It was really good." And then I was like, "Oh, okay, I can teach this a little bit. This is something I could maybe do." And then TikTok was blowing up. My buddies were like, why don't you just make a TikTok video? And I made one, and it was super fun to actually film it, which I didn't expect. And I posted three or four of them, four or five, I think, and my fifth video hit over 100K. And it was just like, I was like, wow, this is possible. Like, this is something I could actually do. And ever since then, it kind of just exponentially grew way more than I ever thought it could have.
So what's next for you? What's your aspirations as a chef? Do you want to work in a kitchen? Do you want to just continue to grow your viewership online? What are your hopes?
I think the biggest goal is just viewership online. I mean, I've been very fortunate. Even before the show launched, I blew up even more than I did. I had 1.6 uh when I went to go film. And then when the show airs, I'm already at 2.6. Like it was insane I just hit a million on Instagram literally yesterday, I believe. And I don't know, it's just I want to make food as approachable as possible for people. I think I said that on the show in my interview with Gordon, the first ever cook as well. But I hate gatekeeping in food. I hate unavailability in food. I just want to make sure everyone can get in the kitchen, cook what they like, kind of like what I did with that first spaghetti recipe. Give them something approachable they can make, and they're gonna fall in love with it. They're gonna fall in love with feeding their family, and that's all I'm really trying to do right now is get that to as many people as possible.
Well, Matt, congratulations on making it as far as you did. It was quite an accomplishment just to make the show
Thank
and
you, man.
drafted. So best of luck going forward, and thanks for sitting down with Gold Derby.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much. Have a great day, man.